Hello and welcome to our official October event that is titled Getting Out of Definition. So, why do we want to get out of definition? Why might that be a good idea? Because logically, it sure doesn't sound like one. We are so relying on definitions. The reason being is a definition by definition alone is a limitation. And why is that the case? When we have a definition, we put something into a box and say, this is it. And so it cannot be anything bigger than the box is. And what if the box is way too small? We can find that out if we're willing to use one of the main Access Consciousness tools and ask some questions. And here are 4 questions that really help us to get out of definition or help us with it. What is this? Or what is this really? What can I do with it? Can I change it? And if so, how do I change it? So those 4 questions really help us if we want to get out of definition. And the one question, sitting with the theme this afternoon for a little bit, what I got was, how much are the conclusions we come to based actually on definitions? Are we using definitions in order to come to conclusion? And so as long as we have definitions in our world, we will have conclusions. So where does that leave us? And, so much more is possible than we often dream of, that we think of, that we believe is the case. Because we have those conclusions based on the definitions, what something is and what this reality tells us, this is it, and this is possible and that is impossible. Is that true? And are we willing to ask the question, truth, is this so? Or what is this really? The one thing where I personally feel a definition is really harming us is how much or how many definitions do we have of who we are? I had definitely definitions of this is who I am and this is who I not am. Until I had to acknowledge that I also am what I say I am not. And at that point, I really decided to start letting go of definitions. And if I define myself, can I be anything more than what I've defined myself? But as an infinite being, wouldn't I have access to the whole full spectrum of energies? To every energy? And the ones that we label or judge as good, as well as the ones we label and judge as bad. And what if there are times when we need to pull out, for instance, a killing energy? May it be because somebody is approaching us and it feels sort of weird, and we would like to protect ourselves and just extend the killing energy towards that person. And extending an energy does, like, let's say, stay with the killing energy, does not mean unless I physically take a weapon or physically do something that will kill the person. But it also will alert the person that we're not going down quietly, that we're going to fight. And often that is enough deterrent, because anybody who would like to attack rather takes an easy target instead of one where he may have to fight. So in that sense, extending killing energy is a good idea. And where do we actually extend killing energy? If you are sick and you try to change that illness, wouldn't you have to kill anything that is creating that illness, like viruses, bacteria, or whatever it is? We don't even think about that we're extending killing energy if we are healing our body. So what about that? And what if I can also extend the gratitude or kindness? And usually we don't have a problem with those. And how much can our life change if we are really willing to be aware of extending, for instance, the energy of gratitude? Gratitude can make our life so much bigger, create so much more ease in our life that we would not necessarily have access to if we wouldn't do it. So it's really beneficial if we start to look at where are we defining things, where are we using definitions to come to conclusions or to have projections of how something is going to look like, and where are we not even willing to be aware because we operate too much on autopilot, that we are extending definitions and not allowing us the full access. If I reject killing energy, can I heal myself? Can I maybe contribute to the earth if I'm not willing to kill what is necessary to kill? Or can I contribute to the earth and have the awareness that that earthquake or that tsunami or that hurricane or tornado is going to kill people? Am I holding back then in contributing energy to the earth that she is asking for? So there is a lot of questions that we need to sit with and need to look at. Where am I with that? What does it mean for me? Where am I going here? And yeah, really look at that. I cannot take it away for you, but how much are you willing to get out of definition? How much are you willing to get out of linearity, of form and structure? Those are all things that are limiting us and having access to whatever is needed and required in the moment. So that's where I want to invite you to. And I guess I'm going to leave it at that for the time being, unless there are any questions. Leslie, if you have a question, please type it in the chat and I will address it. But otherwise, I'm going to close for the time being. And really, my idea with those Facebook community events is to plant some seeds of contemplation and have you look at something and be with something and find your own way, because there is no right or wrong way ultimately. It's just whatever works for you, however you choose to be with something. Okay, then I will call it quits for the time being, and I'll see everybody in another week or two for another theme that came up when I was in a class, and we'll talk about the Turk people. And that is going to be a really fun, interesting, uh, quick show. Okay, take care. Until next time. Bye bye.